Dear participants, at the end of the event, we will be sharing all your PPTs, which the session handled by the resource person. And welcome back. The session 2. Today's session 2 is Professor Selvakumar. He is handling the session today. And about Selvakumar, G. Selvakumar has 5+ years of experience in developing enterprise software applications in CAP Germany. He played key roles in several projects in banking and the capital market industry for clients such as Citibank, HSBC, and Barclays Capital. He is certified by National Stock Exchange of India in the area of banking and capital markets. He has 10+ years of teaching and research experience in computer science and engineering. His primary research interests and expertise are in the area of Internet of Things, cloud computing, data science, enterprise application development, J2EE, and mobile application development. He has published around 20 papers in international journals and conferences. He has authored a book titled Getting Started Enterprise Internet of Things and Software Architecture Models, which has been published by Springer Publication in May 2020. Currently, he is associated with the associate professor in Sri Shakti Institute of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore. So I would like to hand over the sessions to Professor G. Selvakumar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, sir, you can handle the session, sir.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much for the introduction, sir. Can I have a quick acknowledgement that my voice is clear and the slide that I have shared is visible?
Yeah, it's visible and audible, sir. Carry on, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. So this session is about cryptocurrency, and I think already we have an introductory session related to the blockchain. And I assume that many of us here have a very basic understanding about cryptocurrency, and probably we might have some people who are working in the cryptocurrency Bitcoin blockchain, and maybe many people who are having very fundamental ideas about the cryptocurrency. Considering all these factors, I have limited this presentation to very basic concepts, and part of the concepts are financial concepts behind the cryptocurrency. As far as introduced, my experience, my 50% of the experience is in financial markets. I have developed the software for capital market industry for many banks and institutional investors. And 50% of the presentation will be kind of technical. And I try to stick with the very basics related to cryptocurrency and the blockchain. This cryptocurrency, this term has become popular in the last few years, I can say. And we are stumbling upon this kind of news every now and then. Okay, so in July 15, 2020, from the official Twitter handle of Barack Obama, there was a message: I am giving back to my community due to COVID-19, and you just give me some money and I will give it back. And what we understand here is there is a address, which is nothing but a simple alphanumeric letters, which looks like kind of random alphanumeric. And only doing this for the next 30 minutes, it is a tweet message from the official Twitter handle of Barack Obama. Just 2 hours later, around 110,000 US dollars in the format of Bitcoins have been deposited in this particular Bitcoin wallet. I think many of you might have understood this particular news. Not only in the Barack Obama's official Twitter handle, but also with Bill Clinton and even many celebrities. US celebrities' Twitter accounts have been hacked, and people were asked to deposit money in a given wallet. So what we are seeing here in terms of the alphanumeric address, okay, so this is a wallet address we just call in terms of cryptocurrency, and people started depositing Bitcoins in this particular wallet address. Right now, we can understand few points here that if you want to deposit a money to a person's bank account, probably we should know the name of the bank, bank account number, IFSC code, and of course the name of the account holder, right? This is the custom currently we follow. So whenever an amount is deposited to somebody's account, it is very easy, okay, to track who is the account holder, and in case of any malpractice, in case of any issues, we can just we can try to reverse even the transaction, or we can arrest the particular person. But what happens in this case is $110,000 is not a simple money, but still people are unable to identify who exactly has done this account. So people want to deposit in terms of Bitcoins, and they give their Bitcoin wallet address, and the transactions happening using this Bitcoin wallet address are completely untraceable, completely anonymous. Even this kind of news, I think, pretty common nowadays. People are talking about ransomware. So ransomware is a kind of malicious software which completely controls our computer. Okay, it's something like a virus program. We cannot even open any single file. The entire screen is filled with this kind of messages. And people who write this ransomware virus programs, they ask you to deposit a money in their Bitcoin wallets. They accept money ransom only in terms of Bitcoin. So they ask you to deposit some, this many dollars in Bitcoins. So you have to deposit in their Bitcoin wallet, but it is completely untraceable. So these kind of news are very pretty common nowadays, and people are thinking about what is this Bitcoin and how these Bitcoin transactions are completely anonymous, and what is this cryptocurrency and what kind of changes it is going to make in our financial world as well as in the technological world. So the cryptocurrency has become the talk of the town in the last few months or maybe the few years. So to understand the basics, to understand where exactly the foundation of this concept lies, we have to understand some very basic concepts about money. We should know how exactly the money works. Of course, the physical and digital money. So we know that before money was invented, before there is a concept called currency, okay, people used to represent value in terms of products or maybe in terms of objects. So in ancient system, we had barter system. So if I want to get another object or another value, okay, then I have to do exchange, right? So I have to give set of vegetables and I have to get a chicken, as we see in this particular slide. So this is a very complicated system, and fixing the value for a particular object differs from time to time, region to region, people to people. So there is a very complicated system. After some time, people started using some kind of materials, okay, some kind of material objects as a representation of value. Okay, so something like salt, something like gold, something like spices. So we all have known the stories that ancient India has exported pepper and all the related spice, and we have imported huge amount of gold, glass, silk cloth, and all those stuff. So people used to use some kind of material object as a standard for value. So any value that any object that you take, okay, so we can fix this much amount of gold is equivalent for that. Then later we started using currency. Okay, now if you have a 2000 rupees paper bill in your hand, the power or the authority is provided by a centralized bank or a government. You go to a shop, you get products for 2000 rupees and you just give the paper currency. How the shop owner is trusting this particular paper currency, how it is valuable, because it has the sign of Reserve Bank's governor and it is issued by Government of India. So there is a value behind it. This value is created by a centralized authority or the government. If you just take the case of gold, gold has any intrinsic value? Gold has any use? Gold is just a metal similar to aluminum or copper or nickel or ever silver or whatever. Gold is simply a metal, that's it. But there is no intrinsic value on this gold, but only in the people's mindset or only in the people's convention, we assume a value towards the gold, and we use the gold as a valuable exchange value. So always whenever talk about currency or money or value or wealth, there is certain kind of control. In one way, it is in the physical form like a gold. Otherwise, it is in a non-physical form, but it is controlled by a centralized authority. So the Reserve Bank of India, or maybe the central bank of any other government, they issue the currencies and they provide guarantee for the value of the currency. That is how we build the trust, and that is how we use the currency to make our transactions. There are few limitations or there are few problems here. When we do transactions using this kind of conventional currencies, we depend upon the banks, right? You want to purchase something from the Amazon, then you have to transfer the amount from your credit card account issued by the bank, or you have to do a net banking that is also from a bank. So the centralized banking authority, so they charge a little amount based on your transaction. Similarly, they have the complete authority over the transaction. So a government, anytime it can think about, it can make a decision to block your account. The government, anytime it can demonetize the existing currency and it can introduce a new currency. At any point in time, the amount of, the currency that you have in your hand become valueless. Also, when you do these kind of transactions, it is absolutely, there is no privacy. When you make a transaction from your bank account, everyone knows that it is done in the person's name, in this particular person's name. So there is no anonymity, there is no privacy. Okay, and there is a centralized body which has all the power over the transaction charges and the authority of the transactions, all those stuff. Anytime if they think they can block your transactions, they block certain amount of transactions or whatever, they can fix tax amount based on their own will. So these are all certain limitations. Of course, these limitations are good in one particular aspect, but at the same time, there are always people who call themselves as libertarians who want to create something new. They always want to create a digital cash which has complete privacy and which is not controlled by any centralized governing body. Okay, so this is our fundamental problem statement. I want to create a kind of transaction mechanism, but this must be completely anonymous and this must be completely out of any government's control or Reserve Bank's control. That is my objective. So I want to create something as a digital cash. So the digital cash is available only inside my computer software, only inside my computer networks. Anything that is digital which has a problem, that is called duplication. If I have a digital image, very easily that can be duplicated, that can be sent to many people. So if I have a currency, okay, in the digital format, how can I avoid duplication? For example, if you have some 10,000 rupees in the ICICI bank, of course, you cannot spend the 10,000 rupees simultaneously for two occasions, for two purposes, because the ICICI bank, that is a centralized authority that will not allow you to make double spending. Double spending is very simple. You have 100 rupees, you are using 100 rupees for two different purchases. Obviously, that is not possible with the physical currency. You have only 100 rupees note. When you give the 100 rupees note to a shop owner, obviously you don't have the note, you cannot spend it again. But if you have 100 rupees as a digital currency in the ICICI bank account, once you spend, the ICICI bank takes over the charge, it will reduce your balance. Of course, you cannot spend it again. So double spending is not a problem with the existing conventional currency system. But what will happen if you introduce a completely new digital cash system? Okay, so anyone who has this particular serial number, okay, you can spend it here. Then obviously I can spend it anywhere. I can make the copies. So digital cash, I want to invent something called a digital cash. That is my first objective. The second objective is there should not be double spending, but the double spending without a centralized authority. Okay, so this is the objective. I hope I have made my point clear up to this particular level. I want to create a digital cash completely out of any government or reserve bank's control, 100% digital, but at the same time, the hazard in the digital spending is I can make double spending, but that also has to be avoided. So this is my problem statement. Now, there are plenty of cryptocurrencies have been invented, or I can say digital cash systems have been invented before 2009, before the very famous Satoshi Nakamoto's paper. But the very first successful cryptocurrency was Bitcoin. It was invented by the person Satoshi Nakamoto, but till now we don't know that is name of a person, name of a team, or name of a company. We just don't. There is a name Satoshi Nakamoto. It has some interesting meaning in Japanese language. Probably you can just check it out. So in 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto introduced the concept of Bitcoin, and this particular invention solved all the previous problems. So 100% digital currency without a double spending problem, without any central authority. So here the solution works based on a peer-to-peer system. So basically, this Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, and it is a decentralized network. Okay, we will discuss about these fundamental concepts right now. Okay, so before I continue the last 2 points, let us discuss some very basic ideas related to the blockchain. I think right now everybody have already been enlightened about the blockchain concept. So let me quickly introduce some of the basic concepts. So basically in our computing model, we have two different styles. One is the client server computing, and another is peer-to-peer networks. In client server, there is a centralized authoritative server which controls all the other servers, all the other computers. That is a centralized machine. So every client directly communicate to the server, and the server handles communication to other clients. But in terms of peer-to-peer network, there is no centralized server, there is no centralized computer. All the computers can communicate with themselves with 100% freedom. We all have experience in using websites like torrent. Okay, so we can we have the client torrent software. We will be able to download software programs. We will be able to download music files, movie files, and all those stuff directly from someone else's computer without any centralized server. So when you have a torrent software, you can just see who are all the different people having the same file and ready to offer it on the internet communication as a peer-to-peer data transfer. Okay, I think we all know about this basic concept. The another concept is about hash functions. I think in the previous lecture, I think I joined the last few minutes of the previous lecture, and I understood that the speaker explained very clearly about hash functions. So cryptographic hash functions is a wonderful, I can say it is a technological marvel, which has given way to so many solutions, starting from our, several algorithms that involves cryptography and network security. There are so many other inventions which are based on this cryptographic hash function. So just to tell you shortly what is this cryptographic hash, any input that you give that can be converted to a fixed length hash code. Okay, so intelligently you can create a software program to generate the hash function for any given input, and that can generate a fixed length hash code. And there are so many unique features on this particular stuff. Any small change that you do in the input, that will create a completely different outcome. Okay, so that is what attempted in this particular slide. The red fox jumps over the blue dog. If you just change a simple modification in the input, the outcome hash code, it is completely changed. You cannot relate two different hash outcomes and you can try to predict the input. That is absolutely not possible. The reverse process is absolutely impossible. Okay, or near to impossible. But the forward process is absolutely very, very simple. Any input that can be easily converted to a hash code. Okay, so many softwares are available. This is a pretty straightforward process. But the reverse process is almost impossible. Okay, so this is one very important concept that we will be using extensively in blockchains, cryptocurrencies, and all those stuff. And public key cryptography, we all have the basic understanding. So Bob, Alice wants to send something to the Bob, then what really happens? You need the public key of the receiver. So I want to send an information, Bob, stop trying to make fetch happen. So this is a message. I want to send it to Bob in a very secure way. For that, I have to use Bob's public key. I encrypt the complete message and I send it across. Anyone who gets this message, he cannot decrypt unless otherwise he has the private key of the Bob. So this is very, very simple scenario. It is simply analogous to our email systems. So if I want to send something to you very secretly, I can use your Gmail ID. Gmail ID is something very public. Okay, anything that I send using the Gmail ID, that will be available on the internet, but only the person who has the password for the particular Gmail ID can open it. Okay, so something like this. So we know this asymmetric key cryptography or public key cryptography. This is a very fundamental concept, and we know this particular aspect. So public key cryptography has functions, peer-to-peer networks, and of course, some amount of distributed databases or distributed networks or distributed computing. So combined together, all these technologies gives us a new ways of creating a system that is called blockchain, in which we can store any kind of data. Okay, so this can be financial documents, financial transactions. It can be a music file, a video file, or an image. It can be anything. We can store this in a distributed and a decentralized public database. So blockchain, it is basically a distributed and decentralized public ledger. Here the concept is something like our linked list. It appears as a collection of blocks, and each block is in some way linked to the next block. Okay, you cannot modify any particular data, any single data in a particular block. If you just try to do the change, obviously the hash code will change, and the next block also has to be changed. Otherwise, there will be a mismatch. I think elaborately you might have witnessed in the previous session how exactly this blockchain works and how we make this blockchain as a immutable one. Immutable. Once a block is created, once a data is given inside a particular block, obviously we cannot modify that. Okay, that is near to impossible. Okay, I don't have to talk much on this particular aspect. Of course, I think even these are all the stuff we already have discussed in the previous session. So blockchain is managed by a peer-to-peer network. It is not a centralized system. And all the systems are working based on certain protocols. Right now, if you just consider Bitcoin, this is based on the protocol given by the Satoshi Nakamoto. Similarly, all the other applications are working based on certain protocols developed for the particular system. It is completely a peer-to-peer system, and it is based on the consensus. Everybody in the network should approve a particular transaction. Okay, let us discuss a little more simple terms. So when we talk about blockchain, I think some people have this particular confusion. Blockchain, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, are these all same? Definitely they are not same. Blockchain is the technology behind these applications. So blockchain is what we have discussed. Blockchain is nothing but a database. In that way, you can consider it. But it is not a centralized database. It is a distributed database. There is no single authoritative computer which holds this blockchain data. It is distributed across all the computers. That is a fundamental concept. And it is a public database. This is second fundamental concept. Whatever that you put inside the blockchain, that is visible to everyone. Everyone can ask a question. Everyone can verify whether the data is genuine, legitimate or not. These are the two very important fundamental aspects of the blockchain. So it is basically a distributed database. That's it. It is not a centralized database. And it is a public database. And anything that is to be added to the database, it needs the approval of majority of the people in the network. in the peer-to-peer network. So this is the fundamental concept of blockchain. Based on this concept, using this particular idea, we will be able to develop applications, data management, information management applications in so many different domains. Okay, so some of the applications of blockchain are given here. Okay, so more than 50% of the blockchain applications are available in the supply chain management scheme. So because if you just take supply chain management, the trust is extremely important. Okay, so apples are transported from a particular state in the United States to a state of India. It has to undergo various logistic measures. There are so many distribution companies, storage houses. Okay, so it has to pass through various stakeholders, and you have to maintain the data across all the software systems of these stakeholders. Then how can you ensure the trust? How can we ensure that the data has not been hampered in any place? Not only with the valuable items like gold or diamond, or even the food items like apple, wine, grapes, oranges. People have started using blockchain to ensure that it has originated in a particular place, and it has been transported using a specific temperature or transportation condition. Whenever the supply chain happens, the data will be recorded in the distributed ledger. Once it is done, nobody in the next stage or maybe anyone else outside the system can change this particular data. So it gives you 100% assurance to the data. Okay, of course, there are so many different use cases in healthcare systems, in real estate systems, insurance, cryptocurrencies, smart contracts, voting systems of the countries. So wherever data is used and wherever trust is in a question, wherever we cannot depend upon a centralized system to give us trust, then we can definitely go for blockchain. Of course, every single application that takes care of data management cannot be converted to blockchain, but based on these conditions, right? So there are so many different stakeholders. Trust is not guaranteed. Okay, so for these kind of conditions, definitely we can use blockchain. Of course, cryptocurrency is one of the applications of the blockchain. And again, when we talk about cryptocurrency, people are always talk about bitcoins, of course, but there are so many different cryptocurrencies available apart from the bitcoins. But anyway, let us take bitcoins as a reference model and let us try to understand the features of this bitcoin, features of the cryptocurrency. Let us understand how bitcoins work with a very simple scenario. This particular example is only for understanding the basics of Bitcoin. It is not exactly similar to Bitcoin. Okay, so consider your institution or consider any organization. Okay, here I want to introduce a digital cash, but I want to prevent double spending. That is my objective, as we already have discussed. So in my company there are 100 people. Okay, and inside my company, inside my campus of the institution, I give 1,000 digital coins for each. They are digital coins, they are not physical coins, and they can be accessed only through the mobile application. Okay, so they are available only in the mobile application. So I have developed a special mobile application for that. Now, these mobile applications are not connected to any centralized server. These mobile applications are connected to each other. Basically, I have created a peer-to-peer network. Now, everyone can see the wallets of everyone else. Every transaction is stored in the digital database. See, there are 1,000 digital coins. If I assume there are 100 people inside the campus, so total there are 100,000, or maybe I can say 1 lakh digital coins inside my campus. Now, every user can see all the 1 lakh coins, the status of 1 lakh coins. Okay, all the 100 people, they can see the data available in the particular mobile application of all the remaining 99 people. Of course, without any identity. Here, we have to understand one very important point, that I can see only the wallet name. I don't see the name of the person. I don't know Rajesh Kumar has this many bitcoins or this many digital cash. I just know that the wallet ABCD has this many digital coins. That's it. So it is completely transparent, and this is completely peer-to-peer, not controlled by any centralized authority. Fine. Every mobile device has the mobile application and which has a database which registers all the transactions related to this digital cash. A simple scenario. So somebody called Kumar goes to canteen, he gets a snack and he pays to the canteen caretaker Raju 10 coins, 10 digital coins with his mobile app. So what should happen? From this digital wallet, we have to reduce 10 coins and we have to add to Raju's wallet 10 digital coins. So this is a very simple transaction. But we want to ensure that Kumar is not spending the same 10 digital coins in the canteen as well as in the stationery mart. We want to prevent this double spending, and we want to make sure that this crypto coin, I'm sorry, not crypto, we have not yet come to that point. It is a digital coin, simple digital coin. I want to make sure that this particular 10 digital coins are not spent anywhere else. At the same time, I want to do this without any centralized agency, centralized bank. So this transaction has to be authorized. So among these 100 different people who are having this mobile application, there's a set of volunteers who has no other job, okay, other than checking the genuinity of the transaction. So they just check all the previous transactions of Kumar's wallet. They try to find out whether this particular transaction is a legitimate one or not. As I already have told, if there are 100,000 digital coins inside the campus, every single transaction of the digital coin is available in every single user's mobile database. So, but it is a time-consuming process for this volunteer to verify every single digital coin and every single transaction to ensure that what Kumar has recently done is a legitimate transaction or not. So there is a set of volunteers who just check the entire transaction history, okay, and they find whether this particular transaction is legitimate or not. But everyone who wants to do this volunteer job, they cannot do a very simple process, but we have some kind of technical checks for these volunteers. Okay, anybody cannot become a volunteer. So a volunteer has a certain quality. They should need certain amount of computing power, some huge computing power. Okay, so they have to solve some kind of puzzles. These puzzles are not mathematically very complicated. In many places, you might have encountered that. Of course, we will discuss about it later. So they have to perform a time-consuming job to become a volunteer who can authorize this transaction. Why these kind of restrictions? Because the institution management has decided to reward these volunteers in terms of some additional coins. So if a particular transaction is approved, beyond the 1 lakh digital coins already inside this campus, the management will release another coin, okay, to this volunteers. So this is how the system works. There is no centralized system. When I say the management will award the coin, this is only for our understanding. There is no such concept called management. Everything is taken care by the algorithm. The algorithm is running in everyone's machine. Everyone is a management. Every single computer, every single participant of this peer-to-peer network, he is a manager, he is an admin, he is the controller. That's it. So when majority of the people approves a transaction, obviously it is approved. Okay, so when I say management, it is only for for the sake of understanding. There is no physical entity, something like a management. So you just try to understand this particular concept. So here I can prevent the double spending problem. I can use 100% digital cash. At the same time, I can create the system without the use of any centralized system. When there is no centralized system, of course, inside the campus, what really happens is we have created a new currency, we have created a new transaction mechanism, we have created a new value for the exchange without any centralized authority, which is completely based on technology. So that is what we have done here. So this is what exactly happens with the Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin is one of the cryptocurrencies, and for convenience's sake, we are discussing in terms of the Bitcoin, right? If we just expand this example beyond the campus, beyond the institution or the organization to the worldwide, okay, so it is not a simple mobile application used by 100 people inside a campus, but it is an application which is which can be used by anyone in the globe using internet. Okay, you just leverage the same fundamental concepts in the worldwide, in the world scale, global scale. Then that is a cryptocurrency. That's it. So this flowchart gives the flow, exactly what really happens. So someone requests a transaction. So this transaction details is broadcasted to the entire P2P network consisting of all the computers. Some computers in this peer-to-peer network, they volunteer to verify whether this particular transaction is legitimate or not. There are a certain qualification is required for the people who want to verify these transactions. Once these qualified people verify the transactions, when they give the assurance that double spending has not yet done, then the data will be added as a successful transaction. Once it is added as a successful transaction, everyone's database will be updated with this transaction. So what happened to a particular Bitcoin, that will be known to every single participant of this peer-to-peer network. The transaction is complete in this stage. Okay, of course, I think you already have instructed about what is a block. Block can be anything. Here in Bitcoin, it is nothing but a set of transactions. So once a set of transactions are complete, it will be added as a separate block. It is nothing but it is simply like adding a record in the database, as simple as that. So right side, they have given some details about the cryptocurrency. It has no intrinsic value. Okay, something like gold. Gold has no intrinsic value, but it is backed by the physical presence. It is available in the physical format, and the government and the people, they have the sentimental attachment as well as wealth-based attachment with the gold, and they determine the price of the gold. But if you just take the cryptocurrency, it has no intrinsic value, but at the same time, it has no support or backing from the government. It is purely determined by the strength of the technology. We all believe that in peer-to-peer systems, in our cryptographic hash mechanism, it is not possible to hamper a transaction, and any one single person can add a data, okay, without the approval of other people. So this is a technological guarantee that we have. Only based on this fundamental block, we have created this cryptocurrency. There is no physical form, it exists only in the network. And its supply is not determined by the centralized authority, it is completely decentralized. Okay, so this is how Bitcoin works. This is a very, very basic level discussion about the Bitcoin. And I think the basic stuff what we have understood is we have created a digital cash system. The digital cash system, it is available in a peer-to-peer network. There is no centralized network, and the transactions are approved by or confirmed by certain participants of the network. And in terms of cryptocurrency, in terms of Bitcoin, we just call them as Bitcoin miners. So the people who confirm whether the particular transaction is valid or not by checking the entire records of the particular cryptocurrency's historical data, they are called the miners. So these miners are rewarded with more Bitcoins for their task, for their work. To become a miner, you have to, as I already said, it is not possible to simply become a miner. So there is an additional quality required for the miners. You should have additional computing power. Actually, Satoshi Nakamoto, the person or the team who invented Bitcoin, they have very carefully designed how a particular transaction can be approved and how a new Bitcoin can be generated. Mining a Bitcoin is nothing but creating a new Bitcoin. In our previous example, we discussed that there are 1,000 digital coins per head for 100 people. 1 lakh digital coins are created. Similarly, in the Bitcoin, there is a fixed amount of Bitcoins. The maximum Bitcoin that can be generated is 21 million Bitcoins. Okay, so 21 million Bitcoin is a maximum Bitcoin that can be generated. And right now, approximately 17 million or maybe 17.5 million Bitcoins have been developed or created or maybe minted, I can say minted. Still, people are trying to mint or mine new Bitcoins continuously with the help of this computing mechanisms. So Bitcoin mining is a completely different topic. It is nothing but creating new Bitcoins and allowing the Bitcoins to the system. So that's what's called Bitcoin mining. So this is one of the very interesting and very attractive aspect of Bitcoin. So many people who want to make money in Bitcoin, they probably get some very advanced systems. Okay, I think in the last point it has been mentioned. You need either a very powerful GPU or you need a system with ASIC, application specific circuits. When you have this kind of a system, definitely you can try to create the Bitcoins completely new. Instead of buying Bitcoins, okay, you can start creating new Bitcoins. Of course, for the beginners, I can say something. Like a bank, like our ICICI Bank, Citibank, HSBC Bank, in the world, there are few exchanges available where you can go, you can pay some money and you can get the Bitcoins. When you get the Bitcoin by exchanging your currency, that may be Indian rupees or US dollars, or it can be anything. You can just pay the conventional currency and you can get the Bitcoin, something like any commodity, Okay, in the Amazon, you are purchasing a sofa set, you are purchasing some kind of antivirus software, you are purchasing some kind of an ornament. Similarly, you can go to the exchange like Amazon.in and you can purchase certain amount of Bitcoin. Here, the beautiful factor is you don't have to purchase Bitcoins as a whole. You can even purchase a fraction of Bitcoin. So you can buy the Bitcoin and you can use the Bitcoin into any other place where the Bitcoins are accepted for the transaction. Nowadays in India, there are very less places where the Bitcoins can be considered. But in the worldwide, there are many places, especially I think the reputation of the Bitcoin is mostly spoiled because of the dark web activities and the weapon transactions and the drug transactions. Because of the anonymity, people who have Bitcoins, they can use the Bitcoins to purchase anything anonymously. Okay, so if you want to buy Bitcoin, you have to approach an exchange. You can pay in US dollars or some accepted currency and you can get the Bitcoins, and you can use Bitcoins in any place where it is accepted for the transaction. This is one way of getting the Bitcoins. The another way of getting Bitcoins is what's given here. You can mint your own Bitcoin. So when hundreds of transactions are happening in the Bitcoin network, in a cryptocurrency network, you can participate as a volunteer. Okay, you don't have money to go to the exchange and get a new Bitcoin. You can participate in the peer-to-peer network as a volunteer, and you can try to validate a particular transaction with the help of your computing power. You can demonstrate your proof of work. Okay, and you can help the blockchain network. You can help the blockchain behind this Bitcoin network to approve the particular transaction, and you can be rewarded in terms of Bitcoin. This is one way of acquiring the Bitcoins. But this is a very, very tedious process because nowadays so many different people have started using this Bitcoin mining. So nowadays it is very difficult to benefit out of it, and it is given by this particular chart. So there is a concept called halving. So every 4 years, the kind of reward that you get in terms of Bitcoin is getting halved. So in 2009, okay, the reward was around 50 Bitcoins. In 2012, it was 25, 16, 12.5. Nowadays, okay, for a huge amount of work, you will be getting only 6.25 Bitcoins. Okay, so it takes tremendous effort, time, energy, everything to participate in this, but still the kind of benefit is completely reduced. Again, the beautiful thing is this particular phenomena also have been already planned by the Satoshi Nakamoto, and he has created the system in such a way. He knows that once the system becomes popular, so many people will come into this and so many people will try to mint new Bitcoins, right? So he just makes this entire process is not going to be smooth till you reach the 21 million Bitcoin. So this is how it is happening. So beyond Bitcoin, there are so many different cryptocurrencies available. Okay, another very popular one is Ethereum. I think almost all of us heard about these two terms, Bitcoins and Ethereum, right? So and continuously people are creating new Bitcoins, new cryptocurrencies into the system, and all over the globe, plenty of new exchanges are getting started to transact this kind of cryptocurrencies. And another area where people are trying to make money is Bitcoin trading. Okay, so I think it is yesterday's 6th December graph I just taken from the internet. So as of today, one Bitcoin roughly equals 14 lakhs and 9,294 Indian rupees. So approximately around 9,000 US dollars. So this is the current value. I think people have the basic understanding about the stock market, how stock market works. So in the stock market, every company has a particular share, and based on our own conviction, Reliance Industries is currently trading 1,000 rupees. I believe that tomorrow Reliance Industries will do well. So I buy the stock of Reliance Industries from the stock market. My assumption is tomorrow it will become 1,200. A person is telling me Reliance stock for 1,000 rupees because he thinks that tomorrow the price will go down to 900. So based on our assumptions, we do a process that is called trading. Similarly, even though Bitcoins are used for transactions, okay, for commodity transactions, based on the value of the Bitcoin, a large number of people are trading the Bitcoins. Okay, so I think I think nowadays many people are starting this business. Even you might have received calls that are, if you want to invest in blockchain, if you want to invest in Bitcoin, you just give me only 2,000 rupees. A portion of the Bitcoin will be allocated for you. And today the rate is 14 lakhs. Tomorrow it's going to 20 lakhs, and you are going to get the money in double. There are so many business parties have emerged, including interior parts of India, which starts with Bitcoin trading. Okay, but this is 100% speculative one. Nobody knows what is going to be the future of this Bitcoin. So trading is 100% speculative. It is simply a gambling kind of stuff. But still, many people have started investing, and people have started creating technical analysis and fundamental analysis, which is related to the stock market, and people are doing Bitcoin trading vastly. And many people believe that tomorrow the Bitcoin trading is going to replace many of the stock exchanges in terms of wealth. Okay, so if you just take the kind of wealth transacted in the Bitcoin exchanges, it is going to be more than many of the biggest stock exchanges of the world. Many people believe that. So Bitcoin trading, what is the pros and cons? Nowadays it is getting more liquid. Many people are coming into this market, so people are ready to sell and buy. So you don't have to worry that who will buy if I buy the Bitcoin today. If I buy the Bitcoin today, who will buy it tomorrow? How can I sell? You don't have to worry. There is a huge amount of liquidity in the near future. There are more number of exchanges have opened, and the governments have slowly started supporting Bitcoins and the cryptocurrencies. United States, since the beginning, they support the Bitcoins. The other governments have a lot of questions, but they also have started supporting. And you have 100% freedom. You don't have to pay anything in terms of tax or transaction cost. That's extremely less. But whenever you convert your Bitcoins to your own original cash, Indian rupee or US dollar, of course you have to pay the tax. So lesser cost, and the value of the Bitcoin will be maintained because the supply of the Bitcoin is going to be finite. Beyond 21 million, we cannot produce any Bitcoin. So something like gold or diamond or any precious element, it also has a finite supply, so the value can be preserved. So these are all some of the pros. And the problems is that the kind of frauds are completely undeductible. So if there is something happen, as we already discussed, okay, in the name of Barack Obama, I can just send me a wallet address. I can ask everyone to send money. Once this fraud is done, it is completely undeductible. Okay, at least as of now, it is very, very difficult to detect this kind of fraud. And the price fluctuations are extremely huge. In 2000, I think few years ago, the price became extremely low, and suddenly it rose to a new level. So investing in the Bitcoins or doing some kind of transactions is very vulnerable to fluctuation. Of course, there is no intrinsic value, there is no underlying asset. So the value of the Bitcoin is completely unpredictable. And the last point is very, very important one, technological risk. So the entire cryptocurrency concept lies on, on top of the technological concepts. like cryptographic algorithms, or it may be hash functions, or it may be a peer-to-peer network. If there is a technology tomorrow that breaks everything, if there is a new algorithm, okay, so which can break any of these fundamental structures, then the entire cryptocurrency world will collapse. So there is a huge risk in this particular aspect. Of course, the chances are extremely remote, but still we have to consider that these are all the different problems with our Bitcoin. So the cryptocurrency investing, and many people are asking whether it is good or bad. Even students, they have started inquiring about Bitcoin investing. Sir, I have this much of money and I have these people who can facilitate investing in Bitcoins, trading in Bitcoins, whether it is good or bad, what is going to be the future. So there are so many speculations around it, but on the perspective of safety and security, it is not at all advisable to enter into the Bitcoin investing or Bitcoin trading. But if you just want to observe the path of the technology or the path of the trend, then probably we can enter with a very minimum amount and we can just track how exactly the things are happening with this. Okay. So in early 2018, it was $20,000, one Bitcoin, but suddenly it came to $3,000. Right now, it trades around some 17, 18,000 US dollars. So the fluctuation is very, very huge. And nowadays, people have started talking about stable coins. Stable coins are some kind of cryptocurrency, which has some kind of physical asset behind it. Okay, so that will be more towards financial concept. Let me just skip that. So Indian government has a very mixed stand about the Bitcoins. It was banned in April 2018. They removed the ban in March 2020. Right now, our authorities, government authorities, are thinking very seriously about taxing the Bitcoin outcomes. For example, you can buy the Bitcoin in some exchange. Okay, for example, you just say 10,000 rupees and you buy a certain portion of the Bitcoin. After 2 years, you just sell in some other exchange the same Bitcoins and you gain, probably you gain some 50,000 rupees. Then you have to file your income tax, right? The income tax, you have to report that you have this much gain based on the Bitcoin transaction. So the Bitcoin transaction also will be under our revenue radar, and 30% of the tax is going to be, it is expected. Okay, and all the Bitcoin related transactions with your bank account, with your conventional banking system, they need the KYC and PAN. And another very interesting thing is, we all know about Sensex, right? Sensex, Nifty, these are all the stock market indexes which are currently used in India. And these stock markets are having various baskets or various indexes. Okay, so Sensex, Nifty, Nifty 50, Nifty Bs, small cap, large cap. Similarly, S&P Dow Jones, this is an indices in the United States. They have given a space also for cryptocurrencies. So this is going to strongly influence all the governments in the world to include cryptocurrency or to approve the cryptocurrency as a approved format of transactions. This probably may happen sooner. That's what we just believe, because India is going to follow the path of all these powerful countries. And China has highest number of blockchain-based startups, and the Indian startup ecosystem is very closely observing. Many of our, the college alumni, okay, as per my communication, more than 10 people have started their own companies based on the startup, based on this Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency system. Or I can say broadly as a blockchain startups. So Indian government, Indian startup ecosystem is also observing this kind of changes. So once it becomes so influential, Indian government also will make its stand very flexible to accommodate the cryptocurrency related transactions and all those stuff. But still, the Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency related transactions have a large number of challenges to be addressed. Of course, there are very specific scams and frauds based on the cryptocurrency markets and the black market activity, and many people used to pay for illegal activities in the deep web or in the dark web in terms of Bitcoin. So mostly it is influenced by these kind of illegitimate activities, and it spoils the reputation and preventing the governments or preventing the other Federal Reserve governments to stop the usage of Bitcoin. So anything may happen in the future. So that has to be challenged, and the price volatility is so huge, we cannot predict. And of course, if something happens bad, you cannot claim any refund or chargeback. This is one very interesting phenomenon. Once you transfer an amount to a wallet for any reason, you cannot go to anyone to claim a refund. Okay, once it is done, it is done. That's it. Okay, now we are talking about the cryptocurrency in terms of hash functions, peer-to-peer networks, and all these fundamental concepts. And suddenly there might be a superior form of another exchange of value may arrive at a later stage of time. So maybe during that time, this entire system of cryptocurrency can be replaced by those value systems. So it is a very remote opportunity, but still this challenge also has to be considered. And another very important thing is the last point. When we talk about Bitcoin miners, basically what Bitcoin miners are doing is, if you just check the internet, they will say, they are going to solve some huge problems. Basically, that is not logically or intelligently huge problem. That is a mathematically intensive problem. Okay, in the previous section, I think he demonstrated anything can be converted to a 64-bit hash code, but the reverse process is extremely difficult, It takes huge amount of computing power for longer duration to work out the problem, to work out that particular transaction is legitimate or not. This is a very, very extensive problem. And to make that happen, you need powerful computers running for longer duration. So obviously what will happen, you are going to consume huge amount of electricity. When more people are doing this kind of mining, more amount of electricity in the entire globe is going to be utilized for this purpose. And obviously it is going to do something bad to our environment. So this is a kind of a mixed view, both financial as well as technical view of cryptocurrency. I have just taken Bitcoin as an example, and I try to give a very simple and introductory tour around the concept of cryptocurrency. Okay, so that's all about the session. If you have any questions, I will try to address that. Thank you very much.
Participants, you have any queries, you can. Participants, do you have any queries? Thank you, sir. Thank you, Selvakumar, sir. It's an wonderful as well as an informative session. Those who are at the beginning stage, they would have been got much more ideas on this. And thank you for your valuable information, which it has been given to our FDP program.
Thank you very much, sir. And I express my thanks to Prakash sir and Angel Men for giving this opportunity. And I very carefully chosen that 50% financial concept and 50% transition concept. For anyone who want to pursue more activities related to Bitcoin, I seriously recommend that you just get some financial fundamentals regarding the exchanges, trading, and all those concepts. Then we will understand why the cryptocurrency environment has been designed in this way. So that's all about my ideas. And thank you very much for this opportunity once again, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. And please share your PPT, sir, so that in the day 5 we will be communicating to all the participants who are here. And I will send an, either to HOD madam or to me, you can communicate, sir. And participants, the feedback link, it has been posted in your chat window. And we'll meet by afternoon by 1:50 p.m.
Right, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.